GM, here we go. We are live. Hey, Fantasy Dog Pound, Pat, thanks so much for coming in. Fantasy Dog Pound has an amazing stream. Really has made some just really sharp calls. I think he also is one of the leaders of the Best Ball Overlay, which is a tool that I really just have been procrastinating on getting. But hey, Pat, thanks so much for coming in. If you don't subscribe to Fantasy Dog Pound, you all definitely should. We're on the clock, though, and it looks like the great flippening has finally happened, where Bijan has flipped now Jefferson and Saquon. And you know what? I'm just going to go along with it. We'll take Bijan here. I have 65 BBMs remaining until I'm done, until it's maxed. So I'm slightly ahead of the fill rate. Next week, I am going to be out of town. I'm still going to try to stream. I won't be able to stream Monday, but I should be able to get on the other days, fingers crossed, as far as that is. So I think I'm not going to be able to do as many BBMs. So I want it to be slightly ahead, even though I think now the whole point of waiting on doing your BBMs was to kind of hit this training camp window, be able to adapt to news. And I'm like, I waited long enough. I wish I could just wait another couple weeks, but still have plenty of left. 50 plus BBMs for the last month, I think is enough. Got some really great CLV in some of my other drafts. Got some really bad CLV in others. So hopefully it all evens out. Let me get the ducks rolling. We'll catch up with chat. It's just going to muck with the audio for one quick second, and then we should be good. Hey, Joel, GM, thanks for coming in, hanging out with us this morning. Right Wing Slappy, GM. Always fun hanging with you over in the Matic Discord, and great to see you on. Great to see you on here this morning. I usually try to give a little more of a heads up before these drafts fill, if anyone wants to hop in and draft. But this one filled pretty quick. We went from 5 to 0 in I'd say under 2 minutes. So, and it's 8:30 in the morning. I think the days of waiting for BBM lobbies are over. It is August 1st. It is time. We are now in, we saw real football with pads on, guys we've heard of playing. It was Trey Lance resurgence. Lambert-Smith looks like he's, the Hall of Fame game. They might as well just have kept him there late to start working on the KLS bust that's gonna go there. So just exciting stuff. I think he's now a guy people are gonna take late. Is that a good pick? It feels a little like we're buying the top. Feels a little like we're buying the top. It's hard to read into these things. I mean, you've got backup quarterbacks throwing to 4th, 5th string receivers, and but it's the first game, so we're gonna overreact to those things. I don't know if I'm taking him just yet. Maybe need to hear a little bit more that he's closer to wide receiver 4 than wide receiver 5 in LA. But Trey Harris was out there yesterday. I don't think he did a whole heck of a lot of anything. It did sound like from previous reports that Harris was having a good camp. So, it obviously didn't reflect itself on the field, but who knows? I mean, it could be system, it could be quarterback. We just don't know. So again, I don't want to overreact. I don't want to nuke Harris for my rankings because Trey Lance didn't get him the ball. I don't want to rise, Lambert-Smith, but I also don't want to ignore like a true breakout or a true drumbeat. So we'll keep listening. I don't think we have to panic and run out and get him, but it still is a little bit of a crowded room behind Ladd, QJ, Harris, and forget who their other option are. But let's see. So we've got Bijan. Tyreek just went here. We could do Bijan, Jonathan Taylor, go very robust RB to start with, and then take one of these wide receivers next. I'll queue up Higgins, MHJ, Wilson, not necessarily in that order, and see what the room gives us. If we get, the nice part about Higgins is, we get to be the Burrow pusher. If Gronk's balls takes him, then we kind of lose that little bit of optionality there. Chase Brown, of course, having gone, this person is live to take Burrow. It gives them an excuse to do that. So we'll see. I think MHJ over Higgins. That's kind of how it worked out. Anyway, so we'll get MHJ on the team. We've got Bijan, Jonathan Taylor, and Marvin Harrison Jr., and we're already off and running. Keeping the board up so that you all can see what's going on. We have Brock Bowers at 19 and Trey McBride at 20. Kind of an aggressive McBride selection from the Gibbs drafter. McBride has been, certainly been a third round pick lately a little bit, but he does tend to go to one of the Bengals drafters more often than not. But I don't mind the pick there at 20, especially if your plan is to take an elite quarterback. So if you want to start this way, then that's what you've got to do. Only one other person going robust RB. That is the Get Good Ho over there, all the way on the right side of the board. Thinking of guys I'd like to get my exposures up on. Noted earlier, I don't have enough BTJ. It's been, I think it's just like a draft slot issue more than a fade. I don't have any kind of true fade position on BTJ. I kind of just want to be at market, and I'm well below market. And let me get my exposures. I finally updated this through 85 BBM. So if people are interested in the stands, there they go. I don't expect people to have really memorized what they were, but in going through them, generally everyone's kind of ticked down. So I flattened it out a little bit, which is nice. I had my Scatterbo exposure was over 33%. Now it's down to 29. My Jameson Williams exposure is at 31. I think that was closer to 34, 35. So I ticked that down a little bit. I don't want to be, even if I have a player I'm absolutely in love with, I don't want like an injury to that player to just completely derail, half of my BBM entries, especially someone like JMO, who the draft capital and the opportunity cost of taking him, I think he's a giga smash. I think he's the best click on the board. But again, injury risk is a thing. And I mean, I could be wrong. I'm willing to, if I have 35% of a player and I'm wrong, and that's why I lose, I can live with that. If I have 35% of a player and they get hurt, like, people who had Rashee Rice and were all in last year, that feels so much worse to me. Like the getting nuked because of injury than just, okay, I was wrong. I can live with that versus like the luck really ran against me. Best ball on call, GMTU. Thanks so much for hopping in and hanging out this morning. I got a nice little BBM rolling along here from the 2-hole. My plan today is I'm going to stream until 10. Davis goes live at 10. He does his lineup submissions review. Really fun show. If you're a member of Davis's channel and his Discord, you can post your lineup and he'll review it on stream and give it an elite or delete. And I recommend that. It's good. You can submit your really good ones and get everyone to ooh and ah. You can submit your really bad ones and get them to laugh. Or the ones I've submitted, I tend to do ones where I have questions because I think it's, I feel like I know when I make a good draft, but I think there's a little bit of value in getting someone else's opinion on places where you had a 2v2. So interesting choice here. We could take Hertz unstacked. I could get yet another JMO share. I think I'm going to take a Cortland Sutton share. If JMO comes back to me, then maybe it is fate. But I do want to get a little more Sutton than I have. I mean, I also, if I'm worried about bye weeks, I have plenty of Metcalf. Metcalf is one of my other highest exposed receivers. So I think Sutton is a little lower in it. I know, we do build individual lineups, like, this lineup, when it, if it reaches the playoffs, will have absolutely nothing to do with other lineups. So I don't, it doesn't help me if I don't have JMO in this team and have him in other teams. That said, Jameson Williams coming back around, I do like him quite a bit. I don't think I have any kind of correlations I need to fall over myself to get. I really like Ridley. I do have plenty of Ridley as well, but we'll make this yet another JMO team. I'm going to take him here. Being near the turn, sometimes you got to reach for your guys, but in this case, Jameson Williams, I did get to push him around the turn. I can say, well, I didn't force it this time. So for the audio listeners, we've got Bijan Robinson and Jonathan Taylor, MHJ, Cortland Sutton, Jamison Williams. Sutton lines up nicely for a quarterback tight end double tap. You can get Nix and Ingram here at 95, 98 if I want to make a Denver triple. They play the Chiefs week 17, so I don't have any kind of week 17-y situation there, but that's fine. Again, that's something I don't want to overfit in my process. Other potential quarterbacks, Kyler Murray goes around here, so I think the plan will be to take one of Murray or Nix at the 8-9 turn. We'll kind of judge what we need to do. As a footnote to the Burrow thing, the one hole took Chase and Higgins, so he didn't chance it. He just took Burrow there, and he got James Conner as a week 17 bring back. Looking back over on the right side of the board, seeing what's going on, is this Gedhuhu through 4 rounds took no wide receivers. So I anticipate that drafter will probably take 2, but maybe they are doing the sidekick sims, which were really pushing wide receiver, at least in some of the drafters I know who are using it. We're really aggressively taking the other positions and then trying to catch up in receiver late. So I don't know if Get Good Ho is trying that strategy, or if they're just, one wide receiver through 6. To me, that feels thin. I'm not going to build a lot of teams that way. At least they did get Debo and Daniels stacked, but you know what? If we all knew what worked, we'd all do it, and it would no longer work. So Tyler, GM to you. Thanks so much for coming in and hanging out this morning. I hope all the planets are in alignment and everything's good, and you're not, dragged into some bureaucratic nightmare today. But Tyler, thanks so much for coming in. Fantasy Sanctuary, one of the better follows in the best ball content space. Really great stuff. And of course the Teufel Tower, which is both good ball knowledge and just raw toxicity. And sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need that in this overly sanitized, polite world. You just need 3 dudes who are just willing to just go at each other's throats. So Tyler, thanks so much for coming in. And again, thank you for all the content you do, because it's really awesome. All right, let's see what we've got coming up. Caleb has been getting a little bit of negative buzz as far as his pass blocking. There was some bad coach speak, or I don't know if it was coach speak or just a beat report from camp saying that he got absolutely demolished in pass pro, which is the thing that can keep talented rookie runners, or all runners, off the field. A little bit concerning there, but I don't want to overreact to that. But I will take Pacheco here. I will take Pacheco. That might push me more towards the Bo Nix route, because this would be a week 17 bring back. Again, I don't want to overfit week 17 stuff, but it is something that I want to be cognizant of. Juwan Jennings, calf injury. That's why he's plummeting a little bit. Ricky Pearsall goes. Matthew Golden's a guy that I'm pretty high on. He opens up another potential quarterback. Igbuka, another guy I'm interested in. A lot of really good picks in this range. I might switch to Igbuka over. No, I'm too slow, aren't I? Did I get Golden? I did. I got Golden. Okay. I don't know. I do like the Golden pick slightly more than Igbuka. I think opinions may vary on that particular click, but it is a little tough for me to take Igbuka at 74 when he was going like a full round later for a lot of the contest. I don't want to not take him, because that's just the price he is now. But as you saw, it just gave me a little bit of queasiness clicking him ahead of some of these other names in this range. When if Godwin and Evans are healthy, that is a lot to pay for the wide receiver 3 in Tampa Bay. Now you can make the argument that they're not healthy. You can make the argument that it's a first round pick and it's going to shove one of those 2 veterans aside. To me, it's a little tougher than Matthew Golden, who I think just has a clear path to be on the field all the time. Hey, Tyler, I hope you have a great weekend, Bubba. Much appreciated. Yeah, likewise, Tyler. I hope you have a good weekend too. And again, yeah, thanks for coming in and hanging out. Al Boogie says a fake injury. So you're not buying the calf stuff. Not buying the calf stuff. GM to you, Al Boogie. I felt like it was a fake injury, and then I'm a little hazy on how he got it re-injured because I thought he wasn't practicing, and then I guess he was. So I don't know, man. I'm so spooked by calf injuries now after that, like the Halliburton thing in the NBA playoffs, and just like innumerable players trying to push through calves and then it leading to like Achilles catastrophes. But no, I mean, it's early enough in the preseason, and hopefully, hopefully there's nothing like that afoot. But I don't know. It's enough for me to back off a little bit. I also have a massive bag of Juwan Jennings at this point. So Tyler says, I think I prefer Golden, but I agree. I want both. Yeah, I want both too. I definitely don't want to be out on Igbuka, and I don't want my only Igbuka teams to be early BBM teams, right? Because we're taking different guys late. We have different structures and textures of teams. So I just don't want, I don't want to have the knowledge I have now with no Igbuka teams. And you can definitely make fun of my level of knowledge. That's you could say that you didn't actually learn anything or have any knowledge. Tiger uppercut, GM to you. Tyler says the calf seems real because it was a previous calf and was originally practicing. But yeah, San Francisco seems smart enough to be resting these guys instead of playing through it in practice. Saw with Rizzi holding out an extra week they'd previously pushed. Yeah, that is my hope as well. When it comes to that there. All right, let's see. Evan Ingram 106 would be a little early to take him. I'm trying to think. Does this guy have any reason at all to take Bo Nix from me? Because my worry is if I take Nix and then not Ingram. If I take Nix, this guy who needs a tight end might take Ingram, whereas I'd be very surprised if he took Bo Nix. I also could just take Kyler. I could just do Kyler Nix and say forget Evan Ingram. That's kind of an interesting choice too. You know what? Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we're going to double tap quarterback at the turn. We'll see if this works. If this guy takes Bo Nix, I'm going to be kind of irritated with myself that I did this. I don't know that I need to force the Nix double. I think Nix and Sutton is perfectly fine. This is going to get a little bit aggressive at quarterback here. If I want to take a third QB, I could potentially take Love with my next pick. That'd be a lot of QB draft capital. So if we want another quarterback, maybe it's a late back stacking option. Maybe it's an A-Rich, who I think is somewhat negatively correlated with Jonathan Taylor. I think if we're Jonathan Taylor Bulls, we really want it to be Daniel Jones, but maybe that would be, I don't want to say a good hedge because that feels not right. We could potentially take Penix, backstack Penix, and have a Penix Bijan thing. So we've got a few halfway decent options for a third quarterback on this team. But we'll stay. We'll keep on looking. We'll keep on looking and see what we want to do. But as of now, we have Kyler and Bo Nix. Greg says, "Happy Friday, gang. Have a day all." Hey, Greg, thanks so much for coming in and hanging out. Let's hope the Dolphins don't lose yet another corner. If you are a Week 17 bro, then it just does feel like Tampa Bay Bucks to the moon, because I don't know who's going to be playing in the Dolphins secondary. It could be any one of us. There could be an underdog promotion that you get a chance to play in Week 17 for the Miami Dolphins and get smoked by Emeka Egbuka. It's really bad. The secondary injuries are already devastating in its August 1st. Greg asks, how about a functional tight end? Okay, so we didn't sign Fant. So either we really do have confidence in Waller, or Fant is massively washed, or the Dolphins don't know what they're doing, or all of the above. I'm actually willing to just say the Dolphins don't know what they're doing, but I don't know. This did make me take another Waller share. Julian Hill. Waller is not real. God, Julian Hill. You're going to try out. Are you trying out for tight end or corner or both? You might be the second two-way player. It could be, it could be Greg VS and Travis Hunter as the two-way stars in the league. Ant XVol, get ready to learn Storm Ducks. Greg, I don't know what that is, or Ant, I don't know what you're referring to, but I'm in. I like Storm Ducks. All right, let's see what we've got going here. Tucker Kraft is just going to join the queue, but I don't know if we're going to get him past a guy who already had a tight end and took him, and then two guys that don't have tight ends. So that was a little bit of a pipe dream, queuing him up there. Njoku and Loveland are nice. After that, tight end goes into that next kind of tier. I really do like Shaheed, and apparently the parlay did as well. I'm gonna take Loveland here. I don't think I need to go into great detail on taking Colston Loveland there as my first tight end. Question here is going to be: do we take Jordan Love or do we take a wide receiver? I think we take a wide receiver. Rashad Bateman's a choice. Christian Kirk is another potential option there. Probably just take the ADP value on Bateman, and Kirk goes anyway. I think this is a little more of the. I think this pick is a little bit better than Love, although I really am tempted to just take Jordan Love on this team, but we won't. We're going to take Bateman. He's also week 17 with Golden. I think we can, again, we used a lot of draft capital in quarterback. We got to draft like we're right. We've got Kyler and Nix. I do still want to take a third because I'm pretty strongly 3 QB pilled, but we were able to stack MHJ and Sutton. I think a nice third quarterback on this team would be like a Cam Ward who can offer some rushing upside, and we could backstack with like a 6th or 7th receiver in this room. I think with Harrison, Sutton, Williams, Golden, and Bateman, that's a pretty strong core there. I don't think I need to like panic and take a ton of receivers. So hopefully we can identify someone we like late, and if we can stack them, all the better. Looking at the room, trying to see if anything odd is happening. Fields at 114 is pretty nice. That's pretty nice there. I like that pick. And I don't think I see anyone doing anything too strange. Everybody has a quarterback at this point. Not everyone has a tight end. Like Gronk's balls and the parlay do not have tight ends. So nor does S-Man. Interesting there. Does this guy have 3? No. Okay. Again, I really wish Underdog put the numbers rather than having to measure the thickness of the bar on the fly. It's not the best way to keep track of stuff, but you know what? We have bigger problems in our lives than that. Storm Duck is our number one. Oh yeah, sorry. Yep. I was thinking feeding the ducks. I was That's our starting quarterback's name. Yeah, that's how grim it is. Is that our starting secondary, when someone says the word duck, I don't even think of that player. Also, my son's in a Thomas the Train phase, and there's a train named Duck. So, that Storm Duck, our corner, is actually the third most important duck currently in my life. He also has a rubber ducky, so you could argue that that truly it's number 4. Let's check out the board though. Let's see what we've got going on here. Jordan Love still there, although I think the craft drafter. Where are you, Mr. Craft drafter? Craft drafter is here, so we'll see if they take him. Where is the Reed drafter? Reed. Well, yeah, the craft drafter had to take Jordan Love, so there was no chance of getting him to us. Let's see. Penix goes. Pitts Penix would have been not too bad. Romeo Dobbs, kind of nice there. Let me see. Did Bigsby go? I think Bigsby's already big. Bigsby's gone. Romeo. Oh, shoot. We're just going to take Romeo Dobbs here, and then we can take one more late. Quarterback here. I guess this was kind of fertile ground for running back, but again, with Bijan, Taylor, and Pacheco, I think I want to take some more late options there. Jaded Blue, though, getting some decent buzz. Jaden Blue goes. So let's do what we talked about. Let's take Cam Ward here. I think he's a guy that if we have to take naked, I'm more than okay with. He's going to have a little bit of rushing upside. I think all the camp reports are quite good from him. So I think that will be the plan, to take a little Cam Ward there. We've got Golden and Dobbs, so we've somewhat locked up the probably the two starting receivers most of the time over in Green Bay. I know we don't have Kraft or Reed, but we're going to make a bet that those are the two you need over there. We've got Bateman, so we've got a little self-contained week 17 thing at the kind of back half of our wide receiver room. If we're thinking about potential stacks for Ward, Chig makes sense. We're going to need a couple tight ends on the team. So maybe let's focus on running back and then tight end to round it out. I'm fine with the wide receiver room. So I'll recap it for the audio listeners. We've got a 3-3-6-1. We've got Kyler Murray, Bo Nix, and Cam Ward. Running back room of Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, and Isaiah Pacheco. Wide receiver room of Marvin Harrison Jr., Cortland Sutton, Jamison Williams, Matthew Golden, Rashad Bateman, and Romeo Dobbs, and Colston Loveland holding it down at tight end. So not a terrible team. Not a terrible team. I mean, you could argue that Romeo Dobbs could have been someone else, but I have a lot of teams where the end of my wide receiver room is quite speculative. But if I end this at 6, I have 6 guys that I'm pretty sure are starting wide receivers in the NFL and are reasonable. And so I don't want all my teams to look the same. I'm fine with this team being a little bit of a different texture, something that I'm not doing every time, and seeing how we can get this team going. I just had to look up the Duck guy. Surprised it's a real person. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad in Miami right now. I have to say we're very optimistic that the Dolphins are just going to be in a lot of shootouts. And maybe this is all the more reason to be in on Waddle and Hill. I do kind of like that we have Waddle and a guy named Duck. I think the bird theme is going to be the kind of through line that keeps this team cranking along this season. All right, let's see what comes to us. Jerome Ford, somebody that I hadn't clicked much early that I want to. I'm getting a little concerned about my Miles Sanders exposure. It's starting to creep up pretty heavily. Let's look at the back end of the draft. Krosky Merritt 204, Taj Brooks 203, Woody Marks 199. These were all names you could reliably get in the 18th round that went undrafted in many contests and are now just going to be taken every single time. So a little, I don't want to say annoying, that's the wrong word, but we're now at the point where guys we could reliably get late are just no longer there. So it's definitely changed how we draft a little bit. I'll take Braylon Allen. It sounded like everything was going well as far as his training camp. I know he had some kind of knee soreness. Didn't sound too serious. I'll take a little bit of a flyer on him on this team, and then I think we'll take another tight end. I think Jonnu's a little bit interesting to me, although we do have Loveland with bye week 5. Gesicki, they brought in Fant. Zach Ertz is fine, but he's like kind of ancient, which is not the best thing. I think I'm just going to take Chig here. I'm going to take Chig here because now I don't feel like I have to force I don't have to force a Tennessee receiver. I think if I was going 7 receivers, I probably would take a Io Manor, DK, or Restrepo. Kind of choose your own adventure there. I'll take Chig though because that will forego me having to do that. I kind of want this team to be a 3-6-6-3 team. I think with these 6 receivers, I'd like to end it there and just really take a few more swings at running back. Again, I think running back hitting your flex is generally the kind of keys to the kingdom here. I really like our top 3, but Pacheco, there are a few question marks, and if we can get somebody that, really has like a breakthrough season, probably one of these high upside rookies, we'll look to add them to this particular roster. I'm not going to foreclose taking another running back. With this running back room, we definitely could stop at 5, but I do like the way that this team has come out so far. All right. He pretty much isn't real. Yeah, I guess we'll take on bird watching as a hobby. Yeah, I think, what's the people that have like hobbies like bird watching must be so nice. Like, you're never like mad after you go bird watching, I assume, unless you like don't see any birds, but that has to be a pretty rare outcome, right? Like, when we watch sports, like whether you're rooting for a team or you're watching because you're like have money on it, like there's a real chance you're just going to end that activity like unhappy. Whereas people that bird watch, like that's not going to happen. You're seeing birds. Like that must be so nice. That must be so nice. So anyway, I just want to say I do have envy of people whose hobbies, like your range of outcomes, there's like a very strong floor versus like sports where if I watch the Dolphins lose, I'm very rarely going to be like, well, that was a great game. Like, good for the Bills. I'm really happy for them. Like, that's just not how it works. Greg says it's either Cincinnati last year or it's the worst dumpster fire in years, no middle ground. Greg, I think you've nailed it. I think that's where the Dolphins are right now. Gosh, there's some receivers I like here. Diami Brown, Dante Thornton, Darius Slayton. It's like a siren's song of these late round wide receiver clicks, but I just don't think they're adding anything to this team. I think we could create kind of a super team if we click wisely. Is Woody Marks clicking wisely? Could be. I don't mind Cade Otton here. I mean, Cade Otton as a third tight end feels kind of like a gift. It honestly feels kind of like a gift. I'm just going to take Otton there. And then we'll hopefully get one more running back we like. If Marks goes, I'll be a little irritated because Brashard Smith and DJ Giddens, I have the starter, both those teams. So we'll queue up Krosky Merritt if someone does take Woody Marks. Krosky Merritt been getting a lot of pretty strong buzz in camp. A lot of really good speak about Krosky Merritt, and I think there's a chance that he ends up being somewhat fantasy relevant this season. We'll see. I had essentially a full fade on Brian Robinson Jr. I took him occasionally, but it had to be like a tremendous ADP value. I don't think he was very good. They were working in McNichol last year, who was starting to steal carries from him. Austin Eckler has his role. I think they're looking for somebody. I was a little surprised they didn't take someone with higher draft capital, but it could just be because their scouts identified Krosky Merritt as like the guy they wanted that fit their scheme or whatnot. So he's a guy I'm into. I'll recap the team. We've got a 3-5-6-3. We've got Kyler, Bo Nix, Cam Ward, running back room of Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, Isaiah Pacheco, Braylon Allen, and Woody Marks. A wide receiver room of Marvin Harrison Jr., Cortland Sutton, Jameson Williams, Matthew Golden, Rashad Bateman, Romeo Doubs, and a tight end room of Colston Loveland, Chig Okonkwo, and Cade Otton. Dare I say I kind of like this team. I think it's got some upside to it. I really do. I'm going to queue up some of these favorite late round receivers. If Brashard Smith comes all the way around, you know what? I'm willing to have Pacheco and Brashard on the same team. I think that if Brashard has the McKinnon role, then there are going to be weeks where that is like super valuable, and I don't care. It's an 18th round pick. I will have them on the same team. We'll add Monungai. We'll add Devin Neal. He got a little bit of positive coach speak in the pass blocking department, and to me, that's almost more important than coach speak about their rushing ability. It's going to be a battle between him and KeAndre Miller for the second spot. I don't really want very much Devin Neal, but if all of these guys go, we'll do that. I'll throw Ollie Gordon on the list because I really want that to be a thing. That said, if these guys all go, then and Darius Slayton or Yoshi Voss is still on the board, then we're going to have a decision to make if that wide receiver makes more sense. All right. Terrence is disconcerting. I assume you're you're referring to the Dolphins tight end or the corner situation. Do you think we go into this weekend without a small dollar contest? I hope we get a small dollar contest. It's really nice to have those open. I think just making the game accessible to everyone is so important. Like, if you want to grow the game, it is really something that is valuable. And I think DraftKings does a little better. They always have small dollar contests open. Chris Mazzone, hey, thanks for coming out first. Except birds aren't real. Yes. My favorite conspiracy theory was that the COVID lockdowns were just so they could replace all the batteries on the birds. But yes, if you are a birds aren't real truther, then I suppose bird watching would not be an enjoyable hobby. You would just be like, how is everyone falling for this? Chris figured it out. Yes. Tieran says, if best ball bros became bird watchers, they would bet the over-under on birds or 10x and pay for excitement. Yeah. Yeah, I've got plus 400. We're going to see a red-tailed hawk today. And if we don't, my day is ruined. I almost kind of want Yoshivas versus this cavalcade of crummy running backs. I think the guys I'm kind of excited about evaporated. I don't have any bye week issues, and Yoshivas is week 17 on the for my Cardinals stack. So I don't know. I kind of like Yoshivas with the at pick 215. Maybe Jermaine Burton. Maybe it's Jermaine Burton, but I just have a really hard time seeing this. So we end up with a 3-5-7-3. We've got Kyler, Nix, and Ward. We've got Bijan, Jonathan Taylor, Isaiah Pacheco, Braylon Allen, and Woody Marks. We've got MHJ, Cortland Sutton, Jamison Williams, Matthew Golden, Rashad Bateman, Romeo Dobbs, and Andre Yoshivas, and then Loveland, Okonkwo, and Otten. I like the team. I know I said don't let me take another wide receiver, but I did anyway. You all didn't step up. It stopped me from doing that. But yeah, I like the team. I think it's not too bad. Let's do another. Or let's see what the Husky fill is. I'm going to hop in the Husky. I'm going to hop in a Husky. If it's nowhere near filling, then I'm going to hop out and I'll run a BBM. So let's see what a Husky's at. Waiting for one. All right, we'll do a Husky. If anyone wants to get in this, let me know. Husky waiting for one. See if anyone wants to get in this one. Phil. All right, and we're off. Yeah, the the best ball birds betting on birds is a pretty solid bit here. Let's see. Did we get anyone in here? J-Dubs, Mr. Worth. Hey, good to see you in here at the 5-hole. I'm glad you were able to hop in. I was afraid of counting this down and then have someone like join as an underflow who wanted to be in. So I am glad you were able to get in this one. And we are at the 8-hole, which I feel like I haven't drafted too much lately. So good stuff. All right, waiting for 24 seconds. Yep, Joel at the 105. So Hall of Fame game last night. Again, at the beginning, talked about Krosky Merritt. I don't want to overreact to the one preseason game we were all able to watch. I think he's still probably the wide receiver 4 or 5. Maybe, I think this does suggest he's going to make the team, which is like step 1 to getting on the field is not being on the practice squad. So I think that's kind of big. Could potentially be a late season guy, could end up being a guy with some contingent upside. I think he's going to struggle to see the field early in the season. I know we all hate QJ, but I think that Harbaugh loves QJ. So, I think you've got Ladd and QJ pretty locked in, and I would be surprised if Krosky or Lambert-Smith passes Trey Harris. But again, we'll see. I just don't want to get out over my skis on a wide receiver 4 just because they were in a kind of a high profile spot for us slappies. CMC would be the pick. If CMC goes, I guess I'll just take Puka. Although I feel like Neighbors is so much more fun of a click. But I'll take Puka here. I don't think I have Puka in any of my Huskies so far. So we will see. Greg got the 11 hole and 5 straight slows yesterday. Unreal. Oh, that's so brutal. That's so brutal. I hate when that happens, because then you feel like you've got to like, well, I have this player in this draft, so I don't want to take him in that draft. And so you end up like not really, you kind of like mucks with your overall strategy and the way you're thinking. At least it does for me. I find that kind of annoying when I'm in that boat. And also, if you want like the first 10 players, you just don't get them. If it's especially in like a Husky where it's a 10 max, like you kind of hope to get some distribution of your picks. I drafted the same team 5 times. When you're right. You just binks 1 through 5 in the prizes. But yeah, I mean, you know, I don't think it would be the end of the world if you had the first 4 the same and then you branched out. Like I don't know if that's necessarily how I want to do it, but I don't know that it's like terrible. I don't know. There's a lot of game theory and stuff that would go into play, and whether like how much you want to differentiate those teams. For me, it would be more just about like getting bored drafting the same team versus worrying about like, you know, expected value of when you're right, like having 4 chances, or, you know, having 4 chances for like very disparate outcomes. All right, let's see. Jay Sherman goes Derrick Henry, Puka, huh? We're really doing that? All right, we'll do Derrick Henry, Puka. We will start off this Husky by just being a slave to ADP. We see Jay Sherman has a little more fun. He takes Nico ahead of Henry there. But you know what? We'll just take the ADP value, and hopefully we can construct something fun over here. Greg says, but for real, the back end of the draft felt awesome early in the season. All the third round shuffling makes it feel bad now in case you take QB. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I think the left side now feels more fun again than the right. I also feel like the left side has all the fun because you can take a quarterback over here. That's what the best ball intelligentsia won't tell you. You can take Lamar at 25. You can take Josh Allen at 26. Like, you can take elite quarterback and pair them with these awesome dudes. And that's something I think is not done with the frequency it should, which ironically the DK boomers do all the time. But an underdog, it's very rare you see a quarterback in this range. Whereas if you take Lamar, you can pair him with Flowers. You know, if you take Lamar, you know, you could pair him with Andrews down here at the 8-9 turn. If you take Daniels, you can get Debo sometimes down here. Like you can end up pairing them and then get more unique up here versus the people who are taking them over there. Joel says Henry at 17 feels like a smash. Yeah, I'm not going to pass Derrick Henry at 17 in this in even in 2025. It does feel like if I'm not taking Derrick Henry there at 17, I'm just never taking Derrick Henry, and I kind of want to be at market on him. Man, it would be nice if I got MHJ or Garrett Wilson here, but I'm probably not going to. And this might just be an elite quarterback team. The question would be, would we want Lamar to pair with Henry, or would we want Allen to spread the wealth around? Very interesting choice here. But we're not going to have to make it. I think MHJ at 32, we're just going to keep scooping the value that's presented. Don't care about the 2 week 8 buys. If that kills me in a 3 people advance contest, then I was doomed from the start. But I do like MHJ. You know, he normally lives out over here. So we're getting some unique-ish combos. You know, it is the Husky, so it's more get your guy season. You're going to see more reaches. It's a smaller contest, so you know, uniqueness a little less critical. Although the final is still, the final's not like tiny by any means. It's 117. So, you know, not that big. That's actually a fairly small final. So I don't have to get like crazy. You know, uniqueness I think is a little less valuable than it is in BBM. But there are probably not many Puka Henry MHJ starts in this contest. Let's see what's coming to us at 44. I don't really like Kyron. I don't really like Rashi Rice. Boy, if Kyron comes to me, we could keep scooping the value and we could do Puka, Kyron. Man, like I just want to click Worthy so badly, but you know what? We're gonna just keep scooping ADP value. We'll take Kyron. So to start the team, we've got Puka and MHJ at wide receiver, and we've got Henry, Kyron at running back. So this is a very boomer team we've got here. Let's see what our friend Mr. Worth is doing over there. He's got Saquon at 5, pretty nice. Ladd at 20. I think that's a little bit of a fall. I think that's about 2 picks. And then Trey McBride at 29. Like the start for Mr. Worth there. I will keep looking, see if anything too out of the ordinary is going on. Don't think so. Jaden Daniels at 44 is nice. I do feel like that's a nice little fall there. Jalen Hurts goes. Interesting. So the Cash Drafter passed on Hurts. Hurts went to unstacked to the to MN Hunter. Our friend Mr. Worth, he did not choose to pair Hurts and Barkley together, which I think is perfectly fine decision there to go with the other elite quarterback with Daniels. Over on the left side of the board, we have a piss boy who then decided that Ken Walker was an appropriate first running back for their team. So not too bad of a start here. Hopefully we have time to do this and then run one Badge Bros Brawl. We'll see how quick this room moves. If it's done before 9:40, we'll run a Badge Bros Brawl. Otherwise, we'll probably just hang out for a bit and then make way for Mr. Maddox's lineup review program. All right, let's see. Coming back to us at 56. Chuba Hubbard, Flowers, Travis Hunter by ADP. Do we want a running back or do we want a receiver? I think I'd lean towards Kamara or Connor. This range of receiver I like well enough. Travis Hunter is an interesting pick, but in this time box, I haven't gotten it in good. I don't want 3 week 8 buys. I know I'm not a bye week bro, but even that makes me a little sketched out, having none of my wide receivers starting in week 8. I'll take Alvin Kamara there. I think that's fine. And we will continue keeping on. I could have taken James Conner to make the Mega Cardinals stack. I think that would have been perfectly reasonable as well. Joel says, I'm way overweight on Hurts. Not that there's anything wrong. Need some early QB diversity. Yeah, I think I'm the same way. I think I have a lot more Hurts than Daniels, and that's doesn't feel amazing. I kind of want a round market on all the elite quarterbacks. You know, they really are guys that can separate. They really are guys that if you get a team to the playoffs and you flip the cards over, it definitely feels better having elite quarterback in there, because one of them could just go off and you could just lose because you don't have them. And you're just cooked. So it is one of those things that I do like having. I mean, I don't make it a priority to get in every draft, but I don't want to be I really don't want to be underweight on the elite quarterbacks. I'll queue up Odunze and Olave. I think that would be fun. Olave and Kamara. A lot of firepower on the Saints. That would be. I definitely would prefer Odunze, but I'm willing to live with a bet on the Rattler, Hayner, Shuck trio. Feels bad. If we don't get Odunze, then maybe we'll wish we had taken a receiver there. But honestly, I wouldn't really want Caleb or Swift that much. I have no reason to take Joe Burrow. We'll take Chris Olave here. What are we gonna do? we're taking Chris Olave. Go Saints, go. That's what we'll say. We'll say go Saints. Although it has become less clear on who to take at quarterback. It does not sound like Tyler Shuck is having the world's best training camp. And maybe Rattler is better, but I can't draft Spencer Rattler in a Husky. I just can't do it. It's just not gonna happen. Joel says Hurts going on the 50s early was just stupid. I never passed on it. Yeah, it was crazy because that was like tush push FUD, and then even after the tush push didn't get banned, he just like didn't go back to where he was. So I didn't understand that much either. I got a lot of Hurts in the 50s, but I think he's still just as fine in round 4. Like the 2v2s, if you get them at 45 or 52 or 43 and 54, they're not that. I don't think they're that big. I think this is a pretty like kind of flat zone for your quarterbacks versus like running backs and receivers who you end up with. Caleb off at 71. Thinking about who we're going to take, we've got 3 receivers and 3 running backs. Pick 80 over here on the right side of the board. Let's see what kind of stuff we got looking at. Tony Pollard is a 4th running back. Godwin, I don't really like Shakir, and I like him even less without Josh Allen. I didn't end up with Worthy, so there's no reason for us to take Mahomes. It's too early to take any other quarterback. So we'll see what the room gives us. Maybe we'll get lucky with a little ADP value there. All right. I'll queue up the aforementioned ADP value. I think I'm really out on Montgomery. I really don't like Montgomery very much. But if we have to, we could do that. I'd really prefer one of Judy or Pacheco if the 2 of them go. I could take yet another Hawkinson share. He's been kind of my bailout pick in this range. I think I would just queue up Tony Pollard and then have a really strong running back room is how I would likely play this. Joe Mixon, I'm on a wait and see mode. I'm not trying to add much to my Mixon position. If he's in the hundreds, maybe, but it's getting a little scary. So we'll take Pacheco. I think that's pretty nice as a running back 4. I can now seriously back off of running back. This could definitely be a 5 running back team, and call it a day there. With 7 picks to go, I don't take Shakir, but if he's there 10 picks past ADP, I should take him. I don't know. I hate clicking underdog blurbs because he says he's back at practice. All right, that's all I needed to see. I'll queue up some of these. Different wide receivers. As far as tight ends, I don't want to reach up and get Travis Kelce again. Mahomes to Pacheco. I think that's getting too cute by a half. I'd rather take a couple late round flyers on quarterbacks than try a Mahomes back stack, particularly with Hollywood Brown off the table. I think that makes the back stacking feel a little bit more dicey to me. It is a little hard for me to imagine a Mahomes team winning that doesn't have Rice or Worthy. I do suppose it's possible. Kansas City is known to spread the ball around, but those 2 guys do feel like big, explosive spike week guys. And so I do feel like this current iteration of the Chiefs, I'd want one of them with Mahomes. Not necessarily. I might take some like unstacked or Pacheco Mahomes, but it's kind of my thought process there. Why Shakir when you can just get Palmer later, right? Greg, I don't know if you're joking, but I actually agree with that statement. I really don't think Shakir is that good. I think it's a very flat tier. I would rather, I think week to week, it's going to be him, Coleman, and Palmer are really going to be kind of oscillating on who you want. I'll just take Chris Godwin as a pick 89. That seems good. If he's healthy in week 17 playing the Dolphins with Greg VS in the secondary, this is a giga smash. I am pretty happy to get Godwin at pick 89. I think that is fine. Greg, not joking. Palmer's good at football and is going to fit in Buffalo. Yeah, all the stuff from camp has been very good on Palmer. I like Palmer. I like Palmer quite a bit. And I take him. I don't know what my exposure is exactly, but I'm going to risk it because this is how I embarrass myself by seeing what my exposure to Josh Palmer is. Let's see. All right, folks. Palmer, 8.4%. So I am slightly above market. By slightly, I mean 0.1% above market. Oh, what did I do? I clicked the wrong button. Yeah, draft now. Oh my God, what am I doing? Big struggles here. Okay. All right, there we go. I don't know how I got to that other screen, but it wasn't what I wanted. I will optimistically throw Baker Mayfield in the queue, although I would be absolutely stunned if I got him. Thinking about other quarterbacks, Kyler will optimistically put him in the queue. Probably won't get him either, but we'll see if we can get lucky with that. Other than that, Stafford's really the only quarterback we're looking at. With that thought in mind, let's put Justin Fields in the queue because I do kind of want somebody playing quarterback for this team. Mark Andrews, pretty nice. He is going to continue to rise up with the likely injury. I would really like that. Evan Ingram is fine, but I think I was going to click on Keon Coleman. Trey Harris, yeah, it's fine. I could do a Saints triple stack, but my God, that's pretty iffy. If Shaheed comes back to me like I pick 128, I'd do it. I think it's too many Saints, especially not knowing who the quarterback is. I think if I knew who the quarterback was, I would be willing to do the Saints triple. So Baker goes. That's a little unfortunate. We should get one of these quarterbacks. Obviously prefer Kyler, but if I have to do naked Fields, we'll do naked Fields. Mark Andrews goes at 103. We get Kyler well past ADP. That's pretty sweet. Almost 10 picks past ADP on our on one of our primary pass catchers. Feels pretty nice. We're 8 picks away. Gosh, I don't like Ayuk. I probably take. I know I said I would need Shaheed. I'm just going to put a bunch of receivers in the queue. Receiver has gone off the proverbial cliff here. Tight end, I'm just going to put a bunch of names in the queue so I can shuffle them if I have to. We will see. Greg says my hamstrings would implode on the first back pedal. Yeah, it is. I remember in high school, my buddies and we played a lot of pickup football, and we were just playing on like a public park, and a guy comes up and asked if he could play with us, and he was like way bigger than all of us, and it turned out he played corner for Florida State, and I think he was like the backup corner there. And even this backup corner, I was like, oh, this is a real athlete. Like, this guy is just light years ahead of me and my dopey friends. Like, it was super nice. Like, he was probably, I think he was on summer break. We were playing over the summer. We were in high school, and it was just like a god walking amongst mere mortals. So it is incredible, like the level of athleticism that these NFL players are. But I'll never forget being like us playing football and realizing like, yeah, we are absolute dog meat, even in our high school athletic prime against somebody playing like college football. All right, so Rashid Shaheed did come back, but I don't think that's enough for us to take him. This is so gross. I almost feel like I'd rather take a tight end, and we'll take Tucker Kraft here. We'll go the late wide receiver route. We're only going to take 5 running backs. Arguably, this could even almost be hyper fragile and stop at 4. But this does open up Love as a potential quarterback on the team. I'm going to put Matt Stafford into the queue, not Geno Smith. I'm going to put Matt Stafford into the queue as a so I don't forget about him. Let's see. Let's put Love into the queue so we don't forget about that option. And we could potentially, look at another tight end in that range. We'll see what the wide receiver landscape is, but it's pretty thin. I mean, Kyle Williams feels like a pretty risky bet. I am pretty in on QJ, so we'll just have some names in the bucket for us to for us to check out, see if anything weird's going on. Let's check in on Mr. Worth. Let's see what Mr. Worth did. So he's got Saquon, Ladd, and McBride added in, Jaden Daniels, Calvin Ridley, Ikmeka Igbuka, David Montgomery, Michael Pittman, Baker Mayfield, and Colston Loveland. So he gets Baker at 101. Nice fall there on Baker and paired him with Igbuka. So that is nice that worked out. You were able to get Pittman, another guy I'm pretty in on. Colston Loveland, of course, one of the steamiest players out there. The one hole gets the Golden Reed double. I really like that. I really like the Golden Reed double because sometimes I don't know who to take. So sometimes the answer is both of them. Sometimes the answer is take both of them, and you can't do that in the middle of the board. You have to choose, but if you're at the turn, you can take both. So he gets love stacked with that. I think that's pretty nice. Thinking about our other quarterback options, it's going to be another like Cam Wardy situation on this team, unfortunately. So we shall see what we get coming around to us. Dak Prescott, big fall on him. Caleb falling as well. I don't think either of those guys would make it to me for any reason. Chris Kirk leaves the queue. Man, Marvin Mims, David Njoku. This range is really, really sketchy here. Pitts Penix, potential bailout stack there, but I don't know if that's the route I want to take this particular team. Don't have any reason for Caleb or Herbert. With Mims going, I think I'm just going to take QJ slightly ahead of ADP. I like him. I think he's a nice addition to this room. With Godwin potentially not being there, QJ could be some early season production. So I don't mind QJ there. Would have it does open. I'll move Herbert up at the top of my queue. I wouldn't mind if I got Herbert with him. I don't want to take Stafford at pick 137. If I get frozen out on Stafford, then so be it. Then that's just a little unfortunate. I'll queue up Tank Bigsby here. If Bigsby as a fifth running back, I think would be really nice. I think that would be a really nice way to round out the team. Other potential receivers, the aforementioned Josh Palmer, that would be nice. Tillman, Leggett, those would be good choices. Let's see if the room gets what the room gives to us. And of course, David Njoku, if he falls all the way to us, not too bad of a pick. Chubb, GM, yo, hey, thanks so much for coming in and hanging out here. What up, Chad, and what up, Greg? Hey, Chubb, thanks again for swinging by this morning. Also, it's been an hour, 3 minutes. I haven't asked. Please, if everyone can like and subscribe, it means a lot. It really helps this stream going. We are at 148 subs. Would love to hit 150. That would mean a lot to me, and would just help push this stream out. Help the algorithm, convince the algo that we are worth showing to more viewers out there. So. Again, if you could do that, that'd be awesome. Justin Herbert did come to us. I think we just take Herbert here. This is kind of nice. I like Bigsby, but I don't need Bigsby. I've already got 4. This really takes the pressure off of the Stafford situation. So let's add Herbert to the team. I think that's pretty nice. Obviously, Herbert without Ladd, not super ideal. Let's see, where is the Ladd drafter? Oh, it's our friend Mr. Worth. All right. Well, Mr. Worth already has 2 quarterbacks, so I think he's going to be okay. Apologies if you wanted Herbert, but if you did have your chance at pick 125 at his ADP there. Chubb asked what draft we running after this. I got you with the like. Hey Chubb, thank you for the like. I wish I had time for those. I'm hoping to do. I think I'm gonna hop in a Badge Bros Brawl, and I'll hop into that in like 5 minutes. Whether this one's ending or not, or maybe not. I don't know. A double multi-tabling with the Badge Bros Brawl feels kind of miserable. Those move so fast. We'll see where this draft is at in 7 minutes. And if we end up kind of autopiloting the end of it, we could do it, because we're gonna get out of here at 10. Unfortunately, Matt Stafford goes at pick 144. So thank goodness we did get we did get Herbert here, because we were going to be kind of up a creek in the quarterback department. Joel says, would have bought the fall on Herbert, but that's probably too much QB capital, so all good. Yeah, I would have. I mean, I think in your position, I would have had trouble passing on Herbert as well. But Tank Bigsby, who was my other pick, is not the worst consolation prize you could get there. Javonte, Najee, Benson, not my favorite range. Running back, likely's injured. Man, it gets so thin in this range. As week one approaches, a lot of the late round value kind of evaporates. This is also a huge fall on Stroud, but I don't really know if I want a naked Stroud here. That doesn't seem great. Interesting decision for me here. Interesting decision. Maybe I was going to take Algier. It's going to take Algier. So now we're kind of a little bit in panic mode. I could, you know what? We'll take a Leggett share. We'll take a Leggett share and hope and plan to take one of these quarterbacks. Ideally Young. I will take Stroud if he's like a gorillion picks after ADP. We'll queue up Ward. We'll queue up Geno. And hopefully, again, get one of those 4 quarterbacks. It is a little scary, this UA guy having one quarterback, because he very easily could double tap and just drain the room. A lot of guys with 2 quarterbacks here, if they want the 3 QB meta, they may just take whoever's there. We don't have to worry about the Collins drafter because we're on the left side of the board. Jay Sherman, with Fields and Allen passed on Stroud at 153. Oh wait, I'm on this. I thought the room was coming the other way. I got to be honest. I thought I don't know what I was thinking. So Stroud does go to this guy who needed a quarterback. We'll see if he takes another, or if we are able to get somebody falling to us. I'll hop in a badge with you. All right. I'm going to hop into that one in man, it's going to be so brutal doubling up on those, but we'll see if we can manage. We'll see if we can manage. I will have to make sure I fill this queue before I do that. And we'll get it going. Let's see. It looks like we are going to get one of these quarterbacks, Young, Ward, or Geno. That would be the preferred order, because I would like this little Leggett stack. I think in a vacuum, I like him Ward naked more than the other 3, but I am willing to break the tie towards this one back stack here that we've got. So we will get the Bryce Young back stack. I'll boot him from the queue, and I'm not going to put guys in my queue because I think I could take any position. All right. I'm going to hop in a Badge Bros Brawl, and I will count it down from 5. And hopefully, if anyone wants to get in, we will do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're off waiting for 5. So if anyone wants to get in, you have your opportunity to do so. I can kind of monitor both from here, but hopefully I can make my next Husky picks before that comes around to us. All right, so that's waiting for 3 over in Badge Bros Brawl land. We've got 9 picks before us. If I pull up the board, what do we need? We need one more running back, but again, doesn't have to be a huge priority. Wide receiver, I don't love Thielen even with Bryce Young. The Hunter Renfrow stuff has just made that room very, very muddy, and so I don't want to go crazy on it. Rico Dowdle would be a nice final running back. Of course, there's a lot of really fun late running backs we can choose from. Tight end, our tight end room is very thin. Jatavion Sanders is nice. We could take Juwan Johnson and really stack up the Saints. I don't hate doing that. Cade Otton, I think Cade Otton's just a good player. Chig, so we'll throw some names in the queue. Let's check on the fill rate. We're still waiting for 2 in the Badge Bros Brawl. If anyone wants to start brawling, again, we're gonna get out of here at 10, so that one's got to fire somewhat soon. But I think those do move pretty darn quick. Rico Dowdle would be a really nice way to end this running back room. We'll definitely stop at 5 if we get him. I mean, I think we're going to stop at 5 regardless. So yeah, we'll take Dowdle. That'll make things easier for us. We're going to add 1 more receiver and 2 more tight ends. So this room will kind of, I don't want to say be completely on autopilot, but we won't have to babysit it super closely if the Badge Bros Brawl goes. We're waiting for 2 on a Badge Bros Brawl. All right. BBB, waiting for 2. All right, we'll see if we can get anyone to fill that. Back to the Husky. All right, so we've got Mason Taylor, Jatavion, and Chig in the draft queue. Let's look at the wide receiver, see if anybody really makes a ton of sense. I don't love the late options for Cardinals receivers. I almost feel like Zay Jones could end up being more important than Wilson. We'll see. If I want to be a slappy and take a Lambert-Smith, I could do that. I think the Badge Bros Brawl just filled. I love Diami Brown. I think he's nice. Darius Slayton is nice too. I can't get enough Dynamic Brown. I have to admit, he is a little bit of a guilty pleasure for me. So we'll see what the room hands to us in the tight end department. Mason Taylor, I think, would be my pick, kind of head and shoulders above these next guys, but we'll see what happens here. All right, Jay Sherman. So we'll take Mason Taylor. We'll get another tight end into the building. I'll go back over. And the Badge Bros Brawl is off. We've got the 1 hole. Oh my gosh. We've got everyone in here. We've got FK Coolers. We've got our friend Greg and Chubb. Chubb, who are you? What's your... Oh, Papa Chubb. Yeah, that's probably you, huh? All right. I'm going to take Jamar Chase over here in the Badge Bros Brawl, and we are off and running. We're off and running there in the Husky. I still need one more receiver and 1 more tight end, but we're up in 11 picks. And so hopefully that can simmer over there. The Badge Bros Brawl does fly along. We've got Jamar Chase, Bijan, and CD Lamb. Off we go over here. And yeah, let's see what we can see. Always interesting to see where Justin Jefferson goes in these rooms. He has been a faller. Sometimes he falls all the way into the second round. He still hasn't gone, and we are at pick 7. Very interesting game of chicken you end up playing with Jefferson. All right, Greg says, who needs to work? Let's get it. Apologizing, I'm going to get weird. Hey, this is the place to do it. This is the place where we blow off steam and do odd stuff to keep the drafts fresh. So I hear you. All right. Shoot. Part of the screen is kind of blocked for me. So, all right. You all have been absolute animals in the running back department. My God, people. The running backs have gone. The running backs have gone quickly. All right. So Puka goes. You know what? I never build like this. I'll get weird too. I'm going to go Neighbors. I'm on Raw. We're going to go Piss Boy in a room of running back slappies, and we'll see what happens. All right, the Husky is up. We are on the clock. Woody Marks just went. Let's take Jatavion Sanders here. I think that's a nice way to end the room with that double stack, and then I'm just going to queue up a bunch of dudes I'm kind of in on. And head back over to the Badge Bros Brawl, which is going to continue to fly on by. We went full wide receiver slap in this room. Not something we do super duper often, but let's hope somebody left something for us. If not, it's fine. We shall overcome. Bucky Irving goes. All right. That's a little unfortunate. I was hoping to get one of Jacobs or Irving. Instead, You guys left me with, you know what I'm going to do? You know what, you guys, you took all my running backs. I'm going to take all your quarterbacks. I'm taking Allen and Jackson. You guys figure out what you're going to do. Good luck. All right, let me go back to the other Husky, figure out who we want to end this team with. For the audio listeners, we've got a 3-5-6-3. We've got Kyler, Herbert, and Bryce Young, Derrick Henry, Kyron Williams, Alvin Kamara, Isaiah Pacheco, Enrico Dowdle, Puka Nacua, Marvin Harrison, Chris Godwin, Quentin Johnson, Xavier Legette. And you know what? We're going to slap it up. We're going to slap it up, and we'll add Lambert-Smith to the team because we're going to live a little, and we're going to take Lambert-Smith. Or we're not. I don't know if that... Why is it not letting me draft him? I have no idea what just happened. We're going to have some receiver, and then Kraft, Taylor, and Sanders. Did my internet die? My internet might have died. Not sure. I'm not sure if this is working. Well, I don't know what happened. I don't know if my internet went out. But we are in big struggles here in this room. We'll take Ken Walker and Chuba Hubbard here because we need running backs. So kind of a wild room. Let's see who did we get in the Husky? Who did we end up with? We did get Lambert-Smith. So we got Lambert-Smith and then had a Kraft, Taylor, and Sanders. So kind of a wild ending there. I don't know. My computer froze. I thought my internet died. So let's pull the board back up. We see Mooncat. See, this is what happened. You went full Giga running back slap, and you destroyed the integrity of the Bad Bros Brawl. Mooncat, I'm completely kidding. I do like trying weird stuff in here. Unfortunately, the one time I tried to go wide receiver early, you were doing that, so this was a bad room for me to do this in. But I did get Allen and Jackson. So, you know, if I have to take all of you apes down with me, then that's just then we're just all going down together. All right. Slappy protection. Yeah, this is what happens. You enter a stream room. Normally stream rooms, right, in other formats are like, everyone stays in their lane, everyone's calm. You get into a Bad Bros Brawl and people's like inner barbarian just comes roaring out of them. So yeah, that was a little bit of a scene. I'll take Tet McMillan, and I probably actually really need another running back more than I needed Tet McMillan. All right, we take Kamara. Yeah, I think my team is dead. I don't think I honestly think with Walker, Hubbard, and Kamara, this team is cooked in this contest. I'm gonna be honest. I think this feels very thin, but at least I have Tet McMillan, right? So we have that going for us. So my team so far is Chase, Neighbors, and Amon-Ra, and then Allen and Jackson. Don't build many teams like this. Don't know if you should either. It seems bad. And then Tet McMillan, and then a running back room of Ken Walker, Chuba Hubbard, and Alvin Kamara. But you know what? It's a Badge Bros Brawl, not a Badge Bros pillow fight. You must come into these rooms and expect absolute chaos. And our friend Greg, a.k.a. Mooncat, a.k.a. the highest T man ever to draft on stream. Yeah. Joel says, my Underdog app glitched right when you were picking. I don't know if something went wrong with Underdog there. I couldn't make a pick, and it was my turn. I had to move Lambert-Smith to the top of my queue. I thought my internet was out, so I have no idea. Dirty P says, you needed Seattle bring back Torrey Horton, always the bridesmaid. Maybe. Maybe. That team, I don't know, man. 30P. That felt like a wild panic. I feel like I can make up the wide receiver points. I said with all due respect. You know, just because you said with all due respect doesn't mean you can just say whatever you want. I don't know if you're aware of that corollary. All right, we'll take Pacheco, and I guess we'll take Pacheco and Pollard. Maybe we'll take Pacheco and Devonta Smith. What's the difference between Tony Pollard and those other crappy receivers down below? So we've got Chase, Neighbors, Amon-Ra, Tet McMillan, and Devonta Smith. Of course, we got Devonta Smith paired with I don't even have. I thought I had Hurts, and I have Lamar. So I didn't take Zay Flowers. And this is the deadest of dead teams. This is the worst Badge Bros Brawl I've ever done. Do not do this. Dear viewer, please hit the like and subscribe. Please do not draft a team like this. You're just going to lose all your money. I have donated to the underdog community this draft. That was terrible. I thought I had Hurts, and I have Lamar. So, cool. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. This team stinks. Tony Pollard goes. Maybe I don't even know. This team is bad. Let's see what other running backs we've got. Joe Mixon, B-Rob, Jordan Mason. I mean, at least we're gonna get Mark Andrews, right? At least we're gonna get Mark Andrews, and I mean, I'm taking Cam Scatabo because you guys know I love him, and one of you guys might take him, and I'm just at this point. We're just going to take people we like. So we've got a 2-5-5-1. We've got Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Seems good so far. Wow, double elite quarterback. And then a running back room that looks like a BBM running back room. Ken Walker, Chuba Hubbard, Alvin Kamara, Isaiah Pacheco, Cam Scatabo. Not good enough, people. Simply not good enough. Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors, Amon Ra, Ted McMillan, and Devonta Smith. Great wide receiver room. I wish Devonta Smith was Zay Flowers, but he's not. Instead, we have Mark Andrews as our bring back. So a little unfortunate that we slapped too close to the sun, and we are now paying dearly for that error. We're gonna take two more tight ends on this team. This is unfortunate. I'll queue up Kincaid. If one of you guys take Kincaid, I don't even care anymore. I'm just kidding. Yeah, Kincaid is fine. Week 7 is going to kind of suck because our starting tight end and our starting quarterbacks are out the window. What other running backs can we add to this morass? Let's see. Did someone take Tank Bigsby? No one took Tank Bigsby. I thought he was gone. We'll add Tank Bigsby to this team in a desperate move. I think that is one thing you can do. In all seriousness, I know this team kind of got away. From me, but you do. I think scrolling down is very valuable. Like Tank Bigsby is not going to be highly owned in this contest, so it is a way to get different. It is a 375 seat final, so this is not the team that's going to make the finals, but adding a guy like Bigsby, who is largely unowned, I think is something you can do. And it doesn't have to be Bigsby. I mean, you can make the same argument for Tootin. You can make the argument for like Ray Day or, any of these guys, even like Trey Benson, right? If something happens to Connor and you get a Trey Benson team to the final, how many Trey Benson teams are going to be there? Like you literally could be the only one. So if you get anything from this, giga garbage team, make it that you can that you should be getting different. All right, let's see. With Chase, Neighbors, Amon Ra, and McMillan and Devonta, I think this is going to just be a 5 wide receiver team. So we're gonna stop there. We'll try to take another swing at running back, and you know what? Maybe it will be maybe we do Trey Benson. Why not? I mean, Joe Mixon is tempting, but the vibe is in shambles. So we'll take Benson, and then another thing I think makes sense is to do a scroll down quarterback. Bryce Young not going to be owned a lot, but I do have Hubba, Chuba, and Tet. So we'll take Bryce Young onto this team. So we'll have a 3-7-5-2, and then we'll take one more tight end to round out the bunch. All right. Chubb says, we are brawling right now. My team is looking dangerous. Yes. I always say it's hard to make Badge Bros Brawl teams that don't look good. I may have done that with this kind of mess of a team, but you know what? We'll see. Dirty P says, Horton on the Husky team. I have no comment on these Badge Bros Brawl. Yeah, the Badge Bros Brawls is pure mayhem. Greg took my Odunze rip the exposure. Badge Bros Brawl. I mean, Lambert-Smith. Lambert-Smith ended up on the Husky team. I did manage to click that in. I also slapped too close to the sun and screwed myself at tight end. You didn't screw yourself at tight end. I don't think you can screw yourself at tight end. I think even if you just started taking tight ends now, like if your tight end room was Warren, Goddard, and Ferguson, that's probably fine. Like unless one of the elites separates. And the thing about it is I think when you have 3 tight ends of that caliber, like you can make up the elite tight end production. Just like you have 3 cracks at it. I don't know. I don't think you screwed yourself at tight end at all. I think that's fine. We'll do something weird too. We'll take Ja'Tavion Sanders. We'll do the double. We'll try to get weird. We're going to try to get weird. We'll close this out with Ja'Tavion Sanders. So this team ends up being Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Bryce Young, running back room of Ken Walker, Chuba Hubbard, Alvin Kamara, Isaiah Pacheco, Cam Scatterbo, Tank Bigsby, and Trey Benson. A wide receiver room of Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra, Ted McMillan, Devonta Smith, Mark Andrews, Dalton Kincaid, and Ja'Tavion Sanders. I don't hate the concept. I think in another room, and I'm not trying to pick on you, Greg. I'm just saying in another room, you probably could get away with the 3 running back start or 3 wide receiver start. I mean, these are 3 first-round wide receivers. That could be like giga strong. I think the meta in this contest is heavy running back early, but Mooncat and Chris King took 3 running backs with the first 3 picks. So then when it got to round 4 and 5, once Jacobs and Bucky went, the wheels had fallen off. So I don't think this is terrible. I want to do some teams like this. Just this was not the room to try that in. But everybody, that was so much fun. All jokes aside, I do love these drafts with you guys. I think this I don't think this team for me is the winner, but I did have fun drafting it and drafting with all of you. If you could like and subscribe on the way out, it would mean a ton. We're on the road to 150. It would be so awesome if I could get there. I won't be on Monday, but I will be back on the Tuesday thereafter. So again, I will see you all soon. Thank you again. And hey, ATX Bearcat, really appreciate the support. I'll see you all on Tuesday. Take care, everyone.